Welcome to Family Business, Episode 3. I'm Dr. Mary Wansley, a counselor and hypnotherapist, and this is my son.
Hi, I'm Dylan Stuber, and I'm really happy to be here. This is great. I can't believe we're actually doing our third episode. You know, an interesting statistic is 99% of podcasts fail because they don't make it past our third episode. So we're on our way to hopefully some success with it. Thank you for joining us. And would you like to do a deep breath to start off our podcast?
Love to.
That'd be great. Okay.
Breathe in deeply through your nose and fill your chest and lungs. Exhale through your mouth. Release the breath. Let it go. Inhale through your nose. Fill your chest and lungs. Long exhale through your mouth. Let it go. Deeper inhale through your nose. Fill your chest, your lungs, your abdomen. Long extended exhale through your mouth. Release the breath. Let it all go. Come into center.
Wow. I feel a lot more centered. I think I need to do that more often.
I need to do that more often. You're good at reminding me.
It's true. Yeah. Because, I think I tell you to do it more than I do it myself. It's like always with advice, right? The saying with advice is like, mostly people that are giving advice usually don't need it or don't have it.
So people that are giving
or
advice.
Wait, what is it? What's the saying? It's like people that they need their own advice. It's like something like along the lines of people that give advice usually need it for themselves, or they don't actually like believe in what they're saying usually.
That's an interesting point. They don't believe in what they're saying. I give clients lots of tools to work with, but I don't necessarily use them all myself.
Or it's like people give advice because they're not using it. Like the amount of people that give you advice, but they don't even use the same advice they're giving is very high from my experience.
This is true. Do you know that there are levels of listeners, and advice givers are attached to whether you follow through with the advice or not?
Huh. Interesting. Explain more about that. That's interesting.
Well, levels of listening. Okay, so someone who listens at a very surface level, who interrupts, topic shifts, hogs the conversation, and you walk away from that conversation, you feel a little disjointed. I call that a level 1 listener. Level 2 is someone who listens, but they're just waiting to respond. So they're thinking about what they're going to say so that they can respond. They're waiting until their turn to speak. Then there's level 3 listeners. They listen to what you're saying and then they're advice giving. And level 4 listener, a deep listener, listens to what you're saying, helps you see the big picture, ask probing questions, and wants to really understand you. And leaving that conversation, the listener feels heard and understood. Because one of our 5 basic human needs is to feel understood. It is the 5th one. Mm-hmm.
I think for me, it's really interesting you actually are talking about the different levels of listening. Because for me personally, I think I'm guilty of all of them. So would you necessarily class a listener into one, or they can be you can be different, all different types at any given time? Like you could be a level 1 or level 2. It just depends on the conversation or the interaction or how well you know somebody. Like I think that for me it varies between my interaction with people and my relationship with them. Where like I'm thinking back as you're saying that to my trip, and I was like, well, I can think of so many different conversations with so many different people. And I'm like, this person I really connected with, and you get to that point where you start probing and you start getting really interested in what they're saying. And some people use more surface level, and you're just kind of like, waiting to be part of the conversation or whatever, trying to get to know somebody. I think, especially when you're trying to get to know somebody, it's always, you kind of like enact different ways how you feel at the conversation.
So of course, people that you get to know a little bit better, you can go to a deeper level of listening.
Yeah.
Level 1 listeners who topic shift, who hog the conversation.
You're talking about in general.
In general.
In general, that there is like this, like for each one, is a broad amount of people that are part of this.
I'm not sure what you mean by a broad amount of people.
I mean, like the people that they live their lives, and on average they're gonna be a level 1. And then on average, there'll be like, you know what I mean? There's people that can fall in each class of listening.
There are, but to be a deep level listener, a level 4 listener, might require some training, some
Yeah.
skill,
Okay, I see what you're
some
saying.
some
Right.
empathy,
Awareness. Yeah.
some awareness.
Yeah.
That's the right word.
Yeah. So you need, yeah, awareness of how you can actually engage in the conversation and the way to carry out the conversation. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I've
You're
never
good
heard
at.
of that before.
You haven't.
No. What were you going to say?
You have a way of listening that you listen at a level 4 when you want to listen at a level 4.
Yeah. When you want to listen.
I guess that's true for
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, what do you think about the whole, like, I remember I'd be like when I was a kid in school, and my teacher like, you're listening but you're not hearing me. And I was like, that's brilliant. That's really interesting. You're listening. A lot of people listen, but they're not actually hearing what, they're not actually fully digesting what's being, told to them, or what they're supposed to be listening to or hearing. And I've always thought about that. I've always thought about, like, especially, you don't feel validated in that sense. You don't feel like somebody's actually is giving you the time of day to really think about what you're saying to them.
So I can say something to you, and I can perceive you as not listening and not hearing me, but I don't really know if you've listened or heard me.
That's true. I mean, I think you can with some body language, but if
Body
you're on the
language.
phone or something, the only way you can pick up is on the tone of their voice if they seem excited after you said something exciting, and they're like, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think there's there's a lot of different cues that people have, for sure, with whether you actually feel like you were heard or not, and that goes into being able to read what type of listener somebody is. Because I would say there's different times when you want people to be different types of listeners. When you're just talking to people that you're getting to meet, like, you go to a friend's, I don't know, football game party or something, and you're just getting to know people, I think you engage different levels of listening. Like, you're like, oh, you kind of surface level, and you're like, oh, that's cool, what do you do, da da da. And then the more you get to talk to somebody, then you open up into these other levels. I think it's what level that you can achieve, maybe. So you start off with maybe being a level 1, listener or engaging, and then it can deepen. And then some relationships, though, I think then you realize, oh, well, this person only is capable of going to a level 2, or or that's where their like set is, like
That's where they're most comfortable.
That's where they're most comfortable.
That's their ability.
That's their ability, and that's what they, that's based on their experiences in their life. They haven't really had to push themselves to go to a deeper level in their listening. I think this is really interesting.
You make a good point. At least this is the way I heard it, as anybody could be a level 1 listener, and it doesn't mean they have poor listening skills.
Right.
It's just the flow of the conversation, and they might interject something
exactly.
when you're speaking. Oh, yes, I heard that.
Right. Or when you're talking to somebody like I'm just doing right now, like, right, okay, right, and it's like.
But that's not a topic shift.
No,
that's not hijacking the conversation.
Yeah, but I mean.
Some people hijack conversations.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, I come in and there's people that start talking about themselves. That's a tough one. It's like there's no list. You're not a listener at all. You're level 0. People that come in that are just. I think I noticed that on my trip a lot, where there'd be this person that would just hop into the conversation, and usually it would be a girl, and they would like use the information of the conversation, and then they start talking about themselves, and I was just like, oh my God. It happened on that boat trip, and I was like, gotta get me out of it. Like, this is it's a little bit painful when you're being really aware, especially as you're meeting new people, and your awareness is spiked. So you pick up on things, and then you pick up on it, you're just completely pushed off. You're completely like, I don't want to engage with this person. Because when you're around people that are normal, like for me, when I was in school, and you meet people and talk to people, it's like all pretty normal, and it's like, oh, well, like this is just life. But when you choose to actually engage with people, then you realize I don't really want to waste my time talking to this person. I'm not getting back from what I'm actually putting into the conversation or in the interaction. And I think it changes based on your livelihood, right? Based on where you are in the moment. So if you're out traveling.
When you say livelihood, what do you mean by that?
Well, I mean,
I think of livelihood is you're earning, you're
No, that's not the definition of livelihood. I had to look it up the other day because you guys. It's just based on your entire life, like how the entirety of your life. If it's good or bad, it's a livelihood. My livelihood sucks, or based on the
That's too bad.
what?
That's too bad.
Oh, no, no,
You
mine
just
is
moved to
good.
Florida.
No, no. But I think it's important to look at where you are being stressed in that regard, to be able to pick up on, oh, I can engage in this. You can choose when you're living your life and you're working with coworkers or with family members, or you're kind of like in this situation. You can't just immediately remove yourself. When you're traveling the way I was, you don't want to just sit here and just waste your time. And that's why you engage different listening, like different listening levels. And it's fun to kind of explore how deep you can go with people and how interesting conversations can, and kind of broaden what your understanding of other people. I think it's very important. And using listening is a very, very important part. One of my favorite quotes, actually, is a man who only talks can develop relationships that will last a lifetime. It takes like 15 years. And a man who listens can develop the same type of relationships in about a year. Like a very deep relationship you can develop by just listening a lot more than you can by talking. I've always thought about that. There was a little book that I think you either had or you gave me. And it was like how a gentleman should carry themselves in the world, something like that. And it's a very good quote. And I think it was Dale Carnegie. Yeah, Dale Carnegie quote. Yeah, it's a very, very good quote. I've always thought about that.
I like that. It takes some time to develop deeper level listening skills. I'm a trained listener,
Right.
because I'm a counselor and a hypnotherapist. I really want to hear what someone has to say so that I can better help them.
Right.
But I don't have the expectation that other people are going to have this ability. That said, I find myself, when someone just floods me with information and there's no back and forth dialogue, I find myself wanting to withdraw from the conversation,
Yeah.
pulling
exactly.
away,
Yeah.
internally pulling away. And I am heighteningly aware of when someone can't listen at a deep level. I'm aware of it almost immediately. And it's probably subconscious. I mean, I'm conscious of it as well, but I
Yeah.
sense it.
Yeah, I think it is subconscious, but I think it's a subconscious thing that happens. When it hits your conscious, when it comes to the forefront of your mind, then it's like, oh, alert, right? I need to get out of this conversation. Like, this is not what I want to be, wasting my time or spending my time doing.
Have you ever been in social situations and you're maybe talking with two other people, and then all of a sudden you're talking with one person? If there'd been two people there, it wouldn't have been as awkward for you to move out of the conversation, but then all of a sudden you're having a dyad and
Right.
it's just two people, and there's this awkward feeling like you want to get out of the conversation, you want to move on, you maybe don't know what to say to move on. What would you say to move on?
Oh, like easy outs?
Yes, what would you
Well,
say?
my favorite one is like when you hang out with people and they have a dog at home. They're like, I gotta go take care. It's like an easy out for them. People like crutching on easy outs, which I've noticed, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's good to have an out. Like, oh, like I'm in a metered spot. Like, you know.
I'd love to talk to you some more, but I'm in
Like I have Frozen's. Oh, can you visit your husband before he's about to go in for a triple bypass? What was it?
Well, so
go
my
for
mother, and we were just talking about my mother earlier, which is Dylan's grandmother, Mimi. She never had a bad word to say about anyone, and she never used derogatory language. She
Right.
never used language that was not a more eloquent word for. She
Yeah.
used eloquent language, I shall
Yeah.
say. She made a little misstep when she was telling Dylan and I a story once. She went home, and my dad was having a heart attack, and he said he needed to go to the emergency room. And she'd just been to the grocery store, and she said, well, okay, I'll take you. She took him to the emergency room, and they took him back, and the nurse came out and said, Your husband is about to have to go back for open heart surgery. Would you like to go and be with him until he goes back? And my mother said, I would, but I have frozen food in the car.
Which is just terrible, but it's an out.
Well, and then she immediately realized what she was saying to us,
Yeah.
and she said, "Oh no, I did that. I."
Right. Yeah.
But she wanted an out.
She
Now,
wanted an
it's
out.
not that she was a bad wife.
No.
Is situations like that, going back and seeing my dad about to have open heart surgery and
It's tough,
being
yeah.
in a room that she didn't know what kind of room she was going to be in. I think it was all
Right.
happening at once. She didn't want to feel uncomfortable. My mother did not like to feel uncomfortable.
No.
She did not like
And if she
uncomfortable
did feel
conversations.
uncomfortable, then she would leave.
And she
And
would, if she did.
How did so that's a better question. You asked me, how do you
Oh.
get out of conversations? She always found a way to get out.
Oh, yes.
And she was good at it. She was so good at it. She was prolific. People knew her as the lady that left early, that didn't want to be there past dark. Didn't want to be there once the food was consumed. It was done.
She
wants
did
to
not want to
leave.
be she was pretty much an only child, had a much older sister. She didn't really like large family gatherings, and my father is from a large family, and we thought it was wonderful.
Right.
But mother would want to leave. And then when you were little, you were her excuse, oh, I need to get
Right.
Dylan
See,
home.
there's an out. It's
Yeah.
I think having it out though, I found like well, being in college, like my friend, she's always like, I gotta go take care of my dog, da, da, da. And I've started realizing, I was like, that's just an out. Like, her dog is fine. Like, you know what I mean? If she really wanted to stay longer, but it's like that feeling also of like I have responsibility too on top of it. But the out can end up like giving you the ability to kind of get what you want, which is some peace, a little bit of quiet time, some time for yourself, some time away from whatever you're doing to kind of get back to yourself, which ends up actually being a bit of a self-care thing. It's one thing you can abuse, but I do think there is a level of self-care, a level of self-preservation that can go into
And
it.
removing yourself from a situation.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine this. Imagine being self-aware and being able to clearly articulate what you're feeling
Right.
so that you really don't need to, oh, I need to go home and walk the dog.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed our conversation. I'd like to mingle a little bit. Hopefully we'll talk again.
Yeah.
Now, my mother, let's imagine that she said, I really want to be with my husband, but this situation is scary to me, so I'm just going to wait until I hear some news.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, there's a way to go
So
about
that's
it.
really what she meant.
I do think people in general, they can't find the words, they don't want to put the effort into it, and they kind of like take the easy way out.
I don't think it's that they can't find the words. I think it's that they don't have the experience using the language, and they don't have, so therefore they don't have access to
Yeah.
the language. They don't have a high comfort level around the
Mm-hmm.
use of language. And people don't want to come off as being rude.
Right. Yeah, people don't want to come off as being rude, and then that sticks out like a sore thumb to people, right? They're like, "Oh, that guy just walked away,"
Yeah.
Right? And you don't want to leave people with that kind of impression. And it's interesting going back to last week when I did the young professionals group, and it was cool because kind of just being in the American sense of meeting people versus I've been meeting Europeans for like months, and you kind of get like the flow, like the way I talked, it was different, like just like the way I like interacted with them, the way my brain just processed their life, what they've experienced and what they understand about me, like it was different. Being American, it's like, oh, we get it, like we all have the same idea and understanding of what life is like. So then you end up kind of having like a more surface level approach, which isn't bad, which is it can be good and bad, but the way that you engage with people is like, what do you do, how do you where do you work, what do you do, how old are you, how long you lived here, all these things. And you get there, and then what I found is like you have to pull out in those conversations, you have to pull out the interesting stuff, you have to highlight the things, and you have to But then, so you're doing that, you're having a conversation, but there's so many people there. You want to meet as many people, so you don't want to spend too much time talking to only one person. Not because you don't like what you're talking about, because you want to, you want to move around the room, and that's why you're there. After all, not to talk to just one person. So I found
Dylan attended the Palm Beach Chamber
yeah, it's fine.
Young Professionals.
And you're sitting there and like, okay, now I want to get out of this conversation. This guy had a really good way of getting out of the conversation. Not getting out, but tabling the conversation to meet other people. And he's like, well, let's go mingle, shall we? And I was like, that's a great point.
I like that.
I thought about that as he said that, and I was like, wow. I was like, that was a good way to do it, because it was like, it was encouraging. It was like encouraging, like, oh,
let's go mingle, shall we?
Let's go mingle. Yeah, like let's. Like, and it was like a we're doing it together and kind of thing. Like, it's not like I'll see you later, I gotta go, and he just walks over the other side of the room. Like, that's a little bit more like, oh, okay, that guy didn't want to talk to me, And then sure enough, I end up talking to that guy later, because we've already talked, and then you start talking, and then we talk another 20 minutes. It's like you kind of gotta, and this is part of going back to what we were talking about, the social anxiety for me, and I really felt like more comfortable in that scenario, talking to people and just putting myself out there, than I ever have, and kind of seeing the way that other people are and the way that they live, and it's like we're all just trying to find connection. We're all just like, what's the simple need? What is the point that we're all here? It's to connect, to find people that we find interesting and maybe want to develop a relationship with, business or friendship, and it was cool. But you kind of see the way that people work, and it's completely different than the Europeans, I would say, and just how they communicate and how they, for Americans at least, just in just getting to know people.
What would you say is the biggest difference in how you found yourself communicating since you returned from Asia versus the many Europeans that you spoke with, and how the communication, how do the communication styles or the depth, how does it differ? The topics, how does it differ?
The topics are different because some of them, the topics are just like, just from the conversations I had, it's like, when people you talk, like when I tell people what's been going on for me, then it's like it's either a dead end, because we've talked about this a bit, but people don't really like hearing about your trip, unless they've traveled. If you've traveled and you've seen different places, then you'll engage with it because you've unlocked that part of your brain. But if you've never traveled, you haven't really seen it, generally you're not that interested in what somebody's trip was like and what their time was to go to wherever they go. People travel and you're like, oh, how was it? That was fun. You're not going to sit there and fully engage in the conversation, but you find pretty quickly, oh, what were you doing? Oh, I graduated in December and I've been traveling for the past 4 or 5 months. Oh, where? Oh, yeah. Tell them the places, and then it's like, oh, that's cool. Or it's like, oh, I've been to Thailand, or I've been to this, and then that's a whole nother thing. Then you start talking about that, and it's like, it's just the way things open up. But it's good to kind of also, for me, to push beyond that, because for the longest time in Asia, it was really interesting. And I talked about this with some other people. It's like I'm just getting tired of saying, how long have you been traveling? Because that's what you do. You meet
that
somebody.
Was the opener.
That was the opening. How long have you been traveling?
Versus your networking event, which is, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the opener. And the opener gets a bit old, and it's like, I can't imagine, what was I doing when I was younger? Like, what was my opener? It was like, it must have been something else. Like, it had to be something else. But now it's just like pretty stale, it feels like. Do you think that's changed as time has gone on? Do you think the way that people engage with each other, like when they first meet, do you think it's been this formal way, like for people like around my age? Was it like this when you were young, or was it like, it's interesting to think, do you think it's just changed over the past 20 years since, I don't know, maybe the digital age has made things a little bit more concise, not as like, far out ideas, where I don't know, I'm curious actually.
I think it depends on where you are. I think it depends on the.
Yeah.
When I lived in Aspen,
if you go to a festival or concert, it's gonna be different. And then if you go live somewhere else, okay, continue. Sorry.
Well, when I lived in Aspen, have you skied this week? Do you know how good the skiing is?
Okay,
how good the powder is, and
yeah, it's true.
Do you do much hiking? There are
Yeah.
other ways that people bond over.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I didn't. Yeah, it's true. It's like I noticed that with the surf culture. It's like how was the surf out there today? Oh yeah, it was like really good last week. You have a bazillion things to talk about with surfing, and then where you surfed, all this stuff. And I think for people, it's finding, um, like a big thing about how like the online space is kind of it's been divided for a long time with politics and everything, and just different debates about life and different things. And a statement is we're all more alike than would like to admit or that we acknowledge. And I really think when you talk to people and you start to get to know them, you find you're looking for similarities, right?
You are looking for similarities?
You're looking for something that you can that you can identify as, oh, I understand this, or I you know what I mean, this is interesting to me. But then it's part of being in a good relationship with new people, or exploring those relationships, is finding where you are different and being able to explore that and get exposed to that as well. Because being around a bunch of people that are just the same as you, I mean, for me personally, it's kind of boring. It's fun to have a diversity, fun to, and that's why you're going out. You're looking for something new, something different, and yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about when someone asks me out and they want to ask me questions about, well, how long have you been divorced and how many children do you have? They ask these preliminary questions.
Right.
Sometimes I feel like I'm being judged, like I'm being sized up,
Interesting.
particularly when I tell them how long I've been divorced.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And why?
Well, I've been divorced for 23 years.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm wrong. This could be an assumption, but I'm thinking, bet they're wondering why I haven't remarried.
Huh. That's interesting. So you think it's a bad look?
I don't know if it's a positive or a negative. It just is.
It just is what it is. I mean, it's the
Yeah, I
truth.
don't think it's a positive.
You don't think it's a positive?
Not necessarily.
Why?
Well,
Because it's not really true. You've had long relationships.
I have.
Yeah, so it's not the full scope of the reality.
It's not the full scope. You're right.
Yeah, so yeah, that is tough.
I'll tell you something that I noticed that I would say 10 years ago was different. 15 years ago, very different. If I'm somewhere, a gentleman walks over and says, "May I get you a drink?"
Yeah.
That rarely happens. That could be my
That
age.
used to happen?
It was a man's way of meeting a woman. And now
Yeah.
there are all these other ways to meet people,
Right.
online dating. So not
Huh.
if I'm by myself sometimes. But it used to happen even in groups of 3.
I wonder if that's. I mean, it could be just. I mean, you've lived at a bunch of different places.
I have.
I mean, it might be that.
It was so
eventually,
common for
yeah.
men to say, "May I get you ladies a round of drinks?"
Right. Right.
It's
Yeah, I think it's still common now, with younger people.
So when you go out socially, and you talk to a woman, do you say, "May I get your drink?"
No.
What do you
I
say?
don't go out.
Mm.
I don't think I don't. I've never really been in the situation to do that. I mean, I've been out with people and I'll just like, if they get a thing of beer or whatever, I'll just pitch. Like I'll just buy one. Like I don't,
Yeah.
Like I'm not overthinking it. I don't know.
So it's
I mean,
different.
yeah. If I'm starting
different
talking
at
to
your
a girl,
age.
then I'll be like, yeah. What do you want to drink? Like, of course you're like that. Yeah. But I'm not like sitting there like at the classic like airport lounge and like, or that's how I picture it, or whatever, hotel lounge, and you like walk up and you're like, hey, would you
Hey,
like a
babe.
drink? Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think about it like that. It's like
Hey, sweetie.
it's like I'm going to like on my trip. It'd be like, oh, I'm going to get a drink. What do you want? Do you want something? That's like the way I would do it.
Okay.
I was like, oh, do you want another drink? Do you want another one of those? Like, there's a way of doing it that isn't like forced. I don't know. I don't really like to do it so forced.
Like you're hitting on someone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like being friendly, being nice. That's for me like more just the way I go about it, more nonchalant. But
I think that's
yeah,
classy.
yeah. Wasn't there something you wanted to talk about something today, right?
I wanted to talk about feelings and emotions.
Oh yeah.
I did.
Well, let's elaborate more on that.
Well, I wanted to talk about feelings and emotions and speaking to levels of listening, that it's difficult for people to listen at a deep level if they don't have the skills or they haven't practiced
Mm-hmm.
listening at a deep level. Being emotionally aware and looking at the difference between emotions and feelings. So, emotions, I'll describe them. Emotions are more unconscious and more external, feelings are more conscious and internal.
Mm-hmm.
Ekman, Paul Ekman did a study in 1970, and he said we have 6 basic emotions: sadness, happiness, anger, fear, disgust, and surprise. And all of these emotions you can see in someone's body language
Mm-hmm.
or hear in the tone that they're speaking in.
Mm-hmm.
Now, feelings are vast. We have more than 1,000 feelings. We don't tend to identify and process feelings. If we learn to identify and process feelings, then we are better communicators.
Right.
When I work with clients, in one of the first sessions I do, I teach them how to do a feeling scan, to scan what's going on in their mind, their body, their heart, and their spirit. And we do a breathing exercise, and then I tell them we're going to do a feeling scan, and I ask them if they want me to mirror first what I'm asking them to do. And 9 times out of 10, they'll go, yes, please mirror what you're asking me to do. And I go from mind, body, heart, and to spirit and identify feelings. When someone is good or has practiced identifying their feelings, they'll be able to give me what's going on in their mind, their body, their heart, and their spirit.
Right.
If they're not, then they'll give me a short story, and then we'll both come up with the feeling, or I'll land the feeling for them. I'll help them find the feeling. And the more this is practiced, the more they go from, this happened with my daughter, I feel sad. Well, when this happened with this,
Right.
I
Identifying
feel,
them.
yeah. So and then as someone gets better at doing a feeling scan, then they're less in the narrative or story and more right with the feeling. But the more that we can identify our feelings and connect emotionally, the better we are at communicating
I really
naturally.
like the feeling scan. I think that's a very smart thing because it's a it's like more doing it's like a mental it's prognosis, right?
How
Or
about an emotional
yeah,
prognosis?
it's an emotional prognosis whereas it's like what do I hear, what do I see? It's like what do I feeling? What is actually going on in my mind and what's been going on with me emotionally. And that's very I think it's very important.
Okay, you want to do it?
Well, yeah, you do one first.
Oh, you want me to do one
I'll do
first?
one first, but you just have to tell me what to do. Let's do one.
Okay, so we've already taken a deep breath, but what I would have a client do is to take a deep breath and exhale 3 times. And then when I model doing a feeling scan, I take a minute and I connect with what I'm feeling. So if I do right now, my mind is feeling driven, busy, sharp, uncertain, worried, clear. My body is feeling rested, tense, strong. My heart, and the easiest way to get a heart scan is to scan people and situations in your life and give it a feeling. So if I think of you, I think cared about, loved, frustrated. If I think about another situation or another person in my life, so I'm just going to do my scan. Lonely. My heart feels full, excited, hopeful. Spirit, and how I assess spirit or talk about spirit feelings is from where we are right now in the present moment as we look out into the future. Excited, optimistic, uncertain, grateful, clear, hopeful, relieved.
Wow, that's very extensive. That's very extensive. It shows that it's an incredible amount that you're into the way that you're able to be in tune with your mind and with your emotions is incredible.
I've had some practice.
Yeah,
You have too.
yeah, absolutely.
All right, do the
I
scan.
don't know if I can. I don't. I can't remember. Okay, you have to tell me which one to do.
All right, what's your mind feeling?
It's feeling, let's say, like panicked, anxious, um, tired. Ooh, I don't know. Keep going. What's the next one?
What's your body feeling?
My body's feeling a little bit sore. I would say sore. A little bit kind of tense. Um, feels like a bit of lethargicness. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Heart. What's your heart feeling? Scan the important people or situations in your life.
Oh, it's full of energy and excitement for being with you and every day that we're working towards our goals and missing my dad.
What was the feeling?
Sadness
Okay.
or I don't know if sadness is right, but just
Longing,
yeah,
sadness.
longing, yeah, longing. Continue.
What is your spirit? Where you are as you look out into the future? What feelings can you identify?
Ooh, love, connection, success. I would say like hard work. I don't know if that works for one, but like
Tenacity,
lot to
focus.
do, lot to do. Busy, busy, busy. A lot on my plate. Overwhelmed. Yeah, continue.
You did it. Good job.
It feels kind of nice to kind of at least to like basically just kind of create a blank slate and then kind of like what is it like what you can kind of thinking of different things and you're like well this actually you can kind of feel which one actually aligns with what you feel as you just think about different emotions everything that's going on because the only one you're talking the only person you're denying or lying to yourself or like if you're saying something else that isn't the truth you'd be lying to yourself and that doesn't benefit yourself it's only to benefit yourself so I really like that because it's just a mental checkup, a mental.
It's, yes, an emotional check-in. What's I've always found interesting is the wide range of feelings that we have going on simultaneously, but we can get stuck into what some people call a negative feeling. I call it more a low-lying feeling because a feeling is not a negative feeling if it's giving us information. So sadness or fear, well, it may feel like a negative feeling, but if it's giving us information, it's a positive. So I just say
Right.
low-lying feelings. But at any given time, we have a wide range of feelings going on simultaneously.
That's true. Yeah.
So if you did this 4 hours from now, you'd have a completely different
Right.
feeling scan.
Right. It's very true.
You can do an abbreviated version of this, or you can do a deeper dive version of this.
Mm-hmm.
And writing the feeling down, that's powerful because our handwriting connects to our own brain.
Right.
When you make that connection, you go deeper.
Well, what would you say you go deeper? Because part of me, when I feel like I write something down, it's just to get it out of my mind, not to develop it any further.
Okay, to get it out of your mind, not to develop it any further.
Right. Not to you know, like it's literally just to get it down. Oh, I feel sad. Okay, write it down.
Get a
It's like
release.
let's put get it released, get it off my mind, put it down on paper.
When I say go deeper, deeper into the feeling, not that you have to hold on to it for a long time, but when we go
But fully
deeper,
acknowledge it.
fully acknowledge it
Yeah.
and become aware, identify, feel, and process feelings.
Right.
So feelings aren't facts, feelings aren't negotiable, and feelings don't require an action. But if someone believes they do and they don't know what to do with their feelings, they're not going to want to identify and feel them, but they don't require action and they flow. Feelings are energy.
Yeah. Yeah, they are. It's true. It's you do want to feel them. You want to feel them for what they are. So I see what you mean by developing and.
It calms the central nervous system when we identify our feelings.
But I think for me, it's always acknowledging the feelings. That's the strong. That's the when going back to the last episode, talking about like masking with using substances. It's like not the lack of acknowledgement of the feelings. That's where it's like that's like I remember I'd be crying and I'd be like I can just smoke and I can not feel these feelings and I don't have to acknowledge them. I don't have to deal with them and like you just push it down. So acknowledging it is I think very important. And for me, when I write it down, that acknowledgement is like, oh, I wrote that down. It's something I have been feeling, and now I can acknowledge that was my feeling. But I don't need to allow it to continue.
So you connect with it, you acknowledge it, and you also don't turn to something to block it.
Right.
If
turn to something to block it,
learn to turn to something to block feelings, then we block them. And then we learn to turn to something when we're uncomfortable.
Yeah. Do you think that, how do you see like getting release from like talking about your feelings, writing your feelings? I've always found just talking about your feelings is probably the most powerful one.
So you're saying you find talking about your feelings. Listen, here's an issue is a lot of people don't know how to name and identify feelings. I had to learn this for myself, how to identify feelings. I remember I was in therapy and my therapist gave me a piece of paper that had all these feelings on it, and I was to circle the ones that I felt on a daily basis and then bring 7 days of it back and we'd look at it. What was going on this day? What was going on this day?
Mm-hmm. And then connect it to your memory. And like, oh, you're like, I was sad that day. Yeah. Or I was sad because of this happened. Yeah.
And then
connecting and then acknowledging, oh, this is my relationship with sadness, or this is my relationship, this is my connection to it. This is my experience with this. And then you have a way to relate it. So when you feel something else, and it's like, then I can acknowledge, oh, this is the same thing. I'm feeling sadness now because of this. It's because we've learned that response, right, is sadness to certain things. Oh, I feel sad that I miss my friend. I feel sad that, I had, you feel sad from the past. Something happened,
Do you know the number one choice that people make to turn to of all the 220 identified behavioral and substance addictions is food?
Really?
Food is the easiest and the fastest. It's the most accessible. Feel anxious, turn to food. Feel uncomfortable, turn to food. Feel sad, lonely, tired, happy.
Turn to food.
When I work with clients, I help them learn to process and feel emotions and separate eating and what they're feeling and dealing with emotionally, so that eating does not become the response to what they're feeling and what's going on emotionally. The two are separate.
Right.
So a separate way to think about eating and a way to process feelings and emotions.
Right. In order, if you keep them combined or they're jumbled up in your mind, then the response to feeling sad or feeling whatever feeling that you have, even happy, like you can feel happy and still, and then you go eat a big bag of potato chips and like because you feel happy. I mean, like I just. I haven't had my cheat meal yet, and it's like I'm happy, and then
meal.
Yeah, then I'm feeling contented. I'm excited to go have a nice big burger or something.
Why do you call it a cheat meal? Who are you cheating on?
I'm cheating on my good meal plan, the meal prep that I do, the food that I eat.
That's diet language. Cheat meal. Okay, I'm gonna have a cheat meal.
It's not diet language. I don't.
I know you're not on a diet, but this is your health, is because you're an extremely healthy eater. I'm very impressed. Cheat meal. Okay. So you're going to cheat.
So that's
what if you didn't call cheating? I mean, if you think about cheating, it's something that's not fair. It's something that's wrong. It's wrong to
processed.
Cheat.
That's how I look at it.
Okay. So what if you just called that a low quality meal, or it was just
no, because I like putting it on a pedestal and like keeping it in
a pedestal. So cheat meals are on a pedestal. They're like, oh, I can't wait for that cheat meal of the week.
Well, yeah, kind of. It's like it kind of part about getting fit and working out and eating healthy is like it's all great and it's but there's like things out there that are not good for you that taste good as well. And yeah, I know that sounds crazy to you because you eat healthy every single day of your life
That's
forever.
not true. I like fried food.
Barely.
I love fried
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, if you take all the fried parts out of it and there's no oil used, no seed oils used and
Well, I don't like seed oil.
there's just there's a things like going to Chick-fil-A and having a spicy deluxe and it's like that
And
sounds
that's a
great.
cheap meal.
Yeah, but okay, so that's a cheat meal because if you go to Chick-fil-A and you want to eat healthy, then you just get grilled chicken and it's fine. Good macros.
Is that a
yeah.
cheap meal?
No, it wouldn't be a cheat meal. Because there's way better things on the menu than the grilled chicken.
That's a little bit black and white thinking. You're like,
Completely. But it's okay because it's in such a moderation that it's like once a week. So you're eating
do you
what?
stop when you're full?
You're eating 21 meals plus a week
Do you stop when you're full?
on the cheat meal? I don't think so. I don't think on the cheat meal.
Oh, because if it's a cheat meal, you overeat. So you
I
eat
think
past
you
fullness.
eat as much as you can. Yeah.
You eat as much as you could because it's a cheat meal, and then you're
Because it's a
going
cheat
back to your healthy meal plan after that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, not me. I haven't even done a cheat meal since I've been working out again,
I
but
see.
I'll do mine, and I don't know what it will be. I might just
That's
make it myself.
exciting.
I might just do my own cheat meal.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll have a cheat meal with you, but I'm not going to call it cheating. I'm just going to call it a meal.
Interesting though, but I
Can
like.
we call it cheat? Cheating's wrong.
That's true. Maybe we should rephrase it. Should be a new word for it.
Well,
We'll have to workshop that. I think that's interesting, actually. I think well because it's like it's how you frame it.
It's how you frame it.
is very very important.
well, so what if you didn't call it a cheat meal? Would you feel like you had to eat all of it and as much as you could of it, so that could because then you're going back on your healthy plan?
I don't know, but now that I think about it, it's like to me it's not really a cheat meal. It's kind of like a joke cheat meal to me at least. It's because like I could eat whatever I want whenever, right? But to me, it's more of like I've been eating like all these like things. Like even a cheat meal to me could be like a really good, really nice steak. Like not cheat meal, but excuse me, kind of a
Delicious meal.
no like a like willing to include like processed food. That's kind of how I look at a cheat meal. Like how I look at this whole region of thought is like this is something where I would then have processed food. I don't eat any processed food at all.
What
How
about
I-
when you're cheating?
how I've been eating, there's not a single thing that's been processed. Not a single thing that's like,
If you're going to have a cheat meal, are you eating processed food?
yes, 100%. Or not, maybe not 100%, but like highly likely that a cheat meal includes something processed, like something from a fast food restaurant or something from like a fried
fast
chicken,
food
like a fried,
restaurant.
like a piece of some fried chicken. Even if I made it myself, that's still like just oily and either sugary. Maybe it's a sugar thing. I don't know.
Well, if you stop when you're full and you use high quality ingredients, or even if you use lower quality,
If you use healthy ingredients, it doesn't matter if it's low quality, high quality. It can be just what you can afford. If as long as it's non-processed foods, you're starting on a good ground.
okay.
Processed foods in general and seed oils are a thing that you want to get away from
Right. Well, you
in the
you-
majority of your diet. So
I
it's
agree.
shifting towards whole foods and using using good oils. You can use butter. You can use there's good things to use out there. Avocado oil is great.
you impress me with your
Algae
knowledge
oil.
about eating and health and working out. Can I talk about what you're doing?
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay, another time maybe he'll let me talk about what he's doing.
I'm not doing anything right now. We're doing this podcast, but it's important that you acknowledge going back to what we're talking about, and I think that there's a much larger conversation to be had between the dieting industry and the cheat meals and counting carbs, counting your macros, the counting people because like where I'm kind of shifting even more right now is towards like how many carbs am I having a day? How much sugar am I having? How much da 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 da, all these things, because I want to know, like not because I want to think about it all the time, and I want to but I want to have a good basis of where am I getting my protein? Where am I getting these things that are going to align with what for me to be able to build the body that I want to build, and be as strong as I want, and how much protein. Like these are very important things, but it also goes into how we frame and our mindset around eating, and how that's been cultivated through, large brands saying, breakfast is the most important meal of the day, which it's not. That was just do you know about this?
Yeah, my grandmother used to say that breakfast is the
it's
most
because
important meal of
was
the
it
day.
wasn't it Kellogg's that published a study? I forget who it was, but it was a large breakfast company, cereal company that created that had doctors basically kind of, they kind of slid the money out of the table and said, hey,
Probably
let's make
Special
it.
K.
Yeah, it's probably, I think it's Special K. But,
Think of the branding, Special
yeah.
K.
No, but it's it goes back to that cultural relationship with food, and then now versus the diet culture versus what your entire business model and how your preachings of understanding your body and understanding stopping when you feel full, which sounds so easy, but it's not. And I think there's a large conversation here that we should we keep
larger
exploring.
conversation. I think
Yeah.
about eating and food differently.
No, and I think about it a lot of how you do too. I mean, there's definitely a good middle ground. For me personally, I mean, everyone has to find what personally works for them. But yeah, but I think that it's a really interesting point, going back to being able to identify your emotions and identify, bring everything together that we've talked about.
And when you can identify and feel your emotions and process them, then you cut off that driver to turn to something to block them, because you can't feel your feelings and simultaneously turn to something to block them.
Right. Right. That's true.
On that note,
I think we should. Yeah, it's been a good one.
it's been a good one.
It's been a great one. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you next week or later this week for the next episode. So thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for joining us
Bye.
on Family Business, Episode 3.